Hey, good morning everyone. It's Ed here with EAPQ's little video I'm going to make today on threading joint collars. Some people, do what they call a compression fit. I tend to thread everything that I do, whether it's joint collars, butt caps, ferrules, that sort of stuff. I just prefer it, just my method. Not saying anything's right or wrong with any other methods. It's just how I do mine. As you can see, I make some joint collars up ahead of time, whether it's for the shafts, for the actual playing joint of the cut section, my ferrules. I try and make things up in groups when I do them. I just find it's easier when I have my setup done to get them all out of the way at one time. Let me turn the light on here. See if that helps out a little bit more for you guys. Here's my standard joint collar. See if I can zoom in a little bit. You can see it's threaded, okay? So it's threaded, then I have a shoulder right here. So when I'm threading, because most of the time I either thread in or out, just depends. A lot of times I thread in, I just stop the machine at the location I want. It gives me a little bit of room for a shoulder. Sometimes if you're internally threading, you want to thread out because you just can't see where you're at. And then here is actually originally gets drilled out for a 9/16 hole. Reason being, on this I will actually thread to a 5/8 tenon. Okay, so your 5/8 is 625 thousandths. I'll be turning this down to 620 thousandths because that's what you really require for a 5/8 bolt or a 5/8 thread. It always goes about 5-6 thousandths undersized, so you have a little bit of clearance. I will be using a 18 thread per inch on this because that's your standard 5/8. If I was doing a butt cap or something 3/4 inch, then I would be doing a 16 thread. If I'm doing my tenons for my ferrules, then I do in accordance with either a 5/16 18 or a 3/8 16. So 16 is pretty common on a lot of things, so it's a nice thread to use. But anyway, so I'm going to cut this in a couple passes. I don't have a DRO, so I wind up measuring everything out. It's just how I do it. It works well for me. I would like to get a DRO at some point, but this also lets you guys know that you can do it with the equipment you have. Now I'm just running a Birmingham 1236 engine lathe here. Like I said, it's all manual. I don't do anything CNC on this, just my other CNC machines behind me. But you can do this on the Hightower, on the Mid-Americas, Chinese lathes, whatever, You can do threading on some of that stuff. You can do the cutting, no problem. It's the threading that runs into more difficulty for you. But there are some, applications out there where you can actually, there's some tooling and some setups where you can actually thread with some of those machines. That's why a lot of people just do the, the compression fittings, what we'll call. So, all right, I'm going to take a couple passes on this, get it down to the size I want, and then we'll go from there. As you can see, I'm using a router. It just makes it real simple for me, rather than making less cuts, with a different type of bit. I have these other bits that I use. I actually have these as well. They're very nice. They're squared. They give you a good shoulder to work with. I just don't need it today. I'm set up already on this machine. And again, this is for a demonstration of a piece of maple shaft I had laying around, just for the video. So let's go ahead and get started. About that, bumped into my camera. All right, I'm at 629 thousandths, so I want to go down another 9 thousandths from where I was. 619.5. That's really close. I'm good with that. All right. So anyway, that begins our first tenon. Then what we're going to wind up doing is making a little mark. I'm going to pause the video for a few minutes. I know where I need to go into here based on my depth, and I'll get my next tenon cut. Just just a touch over, not a big deal. Now, if I was really worried about, perfectly accurate depths and stuff on this, what I would be doing is setting up a dial indicator, which I'll show you here in a minute because it will be crucial to what we're doing. But that's actually looking pretty good there. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to change tooling over so that we can actually cut the threads themselves. All right, changed over to a different cutter now. I've actually got my thread cutter on here. Like I said, I will be going in towards the chuck. It's always dangerous because it's an easy way to crash something, so you got to really keep an eye on things. You don't want to do this being disturbed. Disturbed by people. We're all cube builders, so we're probably a little disturbed because we spend an absorbent amount of money for a very little profit. But anyway, like I said, I will be cutting this, as a 5/8 18 thread. I'll probably do this in one pass. There's different methods to doing this. Some people will cut out, some people will go in, some people will take multiple passes. I don't see that there's a need. If it doesn't fit the first time, then I'll take another pass. And what I've done is I've set up my dial indicator right here, so I know where my 0 point is. So if I have to restart, I simply come down to my dial indicator, then I will restart the machine at that exact same spot. So hopefully you're able to see everything back here well enough. All right, so let's cut a pass here and see what happens. You can see I did slow my machine down. Right now I'm running around 70 RPM on it, so it gives me a little bit more time to work, gives my threads a little bit more time to cut without hurting them. And one of the things I talked about, if you're cutting brittle wood, there is a way to cut brittle wood. I'll go ahead and share it with you, and that's put some CA glue on here, okay? Some thin CA glue. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that for the video. It actually helps harden the wood up a little bit. You let the CA glue dry for a little while, and then hit it with a little activator, but I always let it soak in the wood good first, okay? So I'm going to do that just for purpose of this video, but it's something that I have found actually does help threads. Normally you don't need to do it on regular maple. If you're cutting Purple Heart or you're cutting keel wood stuff, the CA glue actually does help. I don't know if a lot of other people do it that way or not. It's something I do. It's one of my little trade secrets. I guess won't be much of a secret any longer, but we'll go from there. So give me just a second. All right, so here it is. This is thin CA glue. It's really like water thin. It's super thin. If you haven't used it, most everybody's used CA glue, but I like the Starbond. I use this for a lot of applications, whether I'm doing some adhesion or I'm doing finishing. I use the thin and the medium Starbond for those applications as well. But as I said earlier, put a little bit on here. Let it soak into the wood. Let it sit for a few minutes. Let it soak in. Yeah, you can hit it with activator if you want to, but you're not allowing it to soak into the wood to penetrate. And right now, that's what we're after. We're actually trying to bond that wood a little bit more. So let it soak in. a couple minutes. We'll let it soak in, and then we'll hit it with a little activator. Make sure it's hard. It doesn't get on the cutting, with our threading tip here, or threading tool, and then we'll make a thread. All right, so we're back. Been a couple minutes. Just let it set up. I did hit it with a little activator, so it's good and dry, good and hard. Bring this in, and let's cut a thread and see how this is going to fit. Our brush here. I see a little spot that chipped, but it's not bad. Overall, pretty clean looking threads, as you can see. You zoom in a little bit here. Overall, pretty clean looking threads, not bad at all. Like I said, you start doing some of the keel wood, purple heart, so forth, it will try to chip out on you. Let's just see how this is going to fit. Hey, almost looks like it fit the first time. Look at there. Great. Back up here. Yep, it's pretty good. I'd say we're somewhat successful there. Take it back off. Get some epoxy on it later on, and we will be good to go. Again, that's just how I do my stuff. Sometime I'll show you how I actually thread my joint collars. It's not much different. It's just an internal thread versus an external thread. So, but that's how I'm doing them. All right, thanks for watching.